Let's do this.
And we're back. Hello and welcome to Whatever the Weather, another Arsenal podcast. Listener, you join us on Thursday the 15th of August for our pre-season chat. I'm your producer, Graham, and today I'm joined by Dan.
Hello.
And by James.
Hello.
And our new regular contributor, and that's Keith.
Hello.
Okay, so let's get right into it. So pre-season, I'm going to be honest, I don't get too invested in pre-season. How about you lot?
Yeah, I'm the same really. I watched some of the highlights, didn't watch any games in full. Just nothing
You
too
fancy paying
exciting.
$10.99 on Arsenal.com so you can
Well,
Not proper fans. Not proper
no,
fans.
yeah, paper fans.
We need a new contributor. We need a proper fan.
So yeah, just ready for the season now. But pre-season was a bit of nothing really, so got through it, but nothing too exciting.
Yeah.
But one of us went to a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got pretty
It
drunk.
wasn't
too,
me because I'm not bothered about pre-season. Pre-season is an exercise to get the players fit and to beat Barnet 12-0 or something like that. So
Those are the days.
yeah, for me, it was a non-entity. So that can only mean it was done.
It was. And I got a little bit drunk because managed to blag a box, which was fun.
Which game did you go and see? Were you over in LA to watch?
Oh yeah, no,
Bournemouth or Man
Oh no,
United?
flew
he
over
took
to
a
LA.
long flight to Philadelphia to,
Yeah,
he was doing it all like.
No, I went to the Leon game on Sunday. But yeah, managed to blag a box, which is fun. But I've watched most of preseason, to be honest, and even though the results don't matter, I think it's mostly for fitness to get sharp for the start of the season. But I think you can also see things like tactics wise, maybe trying to do a couple of things different, and it's good to just see where we're at, and with the season starting on Saturday, and just see if we're in a good place. Essentially, I think on the pitch we are. We'll probably discuss off the pitch if we're in the best place. But
Ooh,
yeah, having watched preseason, I was quite pleased with what I saw. I think we look ready.
Yeah, I as I said, I wasn't really overly invested in preseason. I don't think I ever have been, like I mentioned before. But no. So obviously you watched it. So what were your thoughts on how did we line up then? I heard, and it is literally just heard on social media about some eye-catching performances from Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis Skelly. But tell us, Dan, what was good about preseason?
Yeah, no, promising. As I said, we looked comfortable. We looked like a team that knew what we were doing. We hit the ground running, and you could see in the patterns of our play, like they all know what they're doing, and the players that were coming in, the Ethan Nwaneri, the Miles Lewis Skelly, they knew the Arteta game plan. They played the style of football, so it was an easy thing for them to come in and really impress, especially Nwaneri. He looks really promising. I don't know if he's the guy yet. Like people saw preseason and thought, oh, maybe we don't need to go out. Maybe he can be the guy. And he definitely showed glimpses of how good he was. But if we're going to win leagues, we can't be using a 17-year-old as a backup to Martin Odegaard. We need something a bit different. But no, as I said, good preseason, showed lots of good things, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I remember in days of old, we had guys like J. Emmanuel Thomas, showed a few moments in preseason, or
Chuba Akpom.
Loads of players Chuba Akpom as well, and it was like, oh, could they be the answer? And there obviously is such a huge difference, isn't there, between the real stuff and obviously a nice kickabout in the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Where does where I actually don't know. Obviously, Nwaneri is that's going to be a real tongue tire to say.
I still don't know if that's
where was Lewis Skelly playing?
He plays in
So
defense.
he was actually playing left back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he he's not a left back. He
Joining
wasn't
the
a
other
left back in
9
the
we've got at the
academy.
club.
Same
Um,
number of goalkeepers as Chelsea. Just throwing that.
Ridiculous.
yeah, and he looked really comfortable inverting. He looked good on the ball, and yeah, he looked pretty good. As I said, it's not his natural. Well, he isn't where he played in the academy. So if that's where Mikel wants to use him, even though he's just brought in Calafiori and we've got Zinchenko and we've got Kivior and Tomiyasu and all of the above, Timber, then he looks comfortable coming in. But as I said, I think it's definitely one for maybe a few minutes here and there, maybe in the Carabao, but I can't see Skelly playing too many Prem minutes. I could see Nweri playing more Premier League minutes. I think he'll play more than people think. But yeah, I don't know if that's based on our transfer window or the fact that Mikel really rates him.
Well, funny that you mentioned transfers, Let me just stop you there. So obviously in pre-season, normally one of the most exciting things is you get to have a look at some of the new signings. And so far, I mean, you've got a little glimpse of Calafiori on Sunday. What were your thoughts there? And what are we all thinking about the transfer window so far?
Well, from what I saw, essentially he is the new Paolo Maldini. Pretty much it. In a nutshell, he is going to be the greatest defender in the history of football. But in the 20-minute cameo, he did look decent. He put in a few tackles, gave the ball away a couple of times, but he looks very comfortable, and I think he's going to be a good signing. In terms of the transfer window as a whole, it's been quite quiet.
My question regarding Calafiori is, where's he going to play? Is he going to be a left back? Is he going to be a centre back? That's my only question with him. I trust Arteta. I trust Edu. But was it the position that we needed the most? So I think I'm still very much out on the fence regarding Calafiori. He might be the best thing since Maldini. He might be the next Pascal Sagan, exactly. But I think I trust Arteta. I trust Edu. Obviously, Raya has been a very good signing. There's no debate about that anymore. It was the right thing to do. But yeah, I think it's been more of a sum about the outgoings, really.
Yeah, so yeah, outgoings is interesting, right? So ESR, obviously, which I do feel sad about, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. He was a big favourite of mine. The reality is that for 2 seasons now he hasn't been what he was. So it's, you can understand the season off through injuries, but it's been 2 years since we've seen the best of him. By all accounts, he was fit and ready to go from January last year, and he just never got the minutes. And it's quite clear that Arteta had lost faith in him, and the squad had moved on, the team had moved on, and it just so follows that he moves on. And obviously, it's much needed funds with this profit and sustainability rules now. So it's pure profit into the coffers. So that basically covers the goalkeeping signing that Keith mentioned. 31 million for the pair of them. Yeah, it's he was probably the most. He's the only player that we've actually made any money on so far. It's been a strange window because obviously the usual players have gone. So Sambi Lokonga has gone on loan. Nuno Tavares has gone on loan again.
Yeah.
El Neni was released. Sorry, Dan. And Cedric Suarez as well was released. But I think we all thought towards the end of
Okonkwo, he's gone to Wrexham.
Yeah. Arthur Okonkwo and a couple of youth players. Raoul Waters has gone, and obviously Kiernan Dewsbury. Not Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. There's another double-barreled Tory.
Well, they've all got bloody double-barreled names now.
Cruiser Dewsbury, he went to Brighton.
Koza Dewsbury, that's it. Yeah. Amari Koza Dewsbury. Well said, Keith. Well done. We got you in for a reason. Yeah, no. So we that's happened, and the young kid looks like he's going to join Man United as well. He was scoring goals in the under-16s last season, whose name escapes me. It shows you what Chido something.
Yeah, Chido Albi Martin.
Yeah. So
traitor.
What a great fan I But no, I mean, we all
How do you
thought,
not
I
know
think,
the under 16 striker, Jack?
Yeah,
how
I mean,
could I?
come on,
How
man.
could I not
You
memorize
know,
that? But it's funny because I think we all collectively thought towards the end of last season, in terms of closing the gap on Man City, that we'd be much more aggressive in the market. And I think we all kind of forget that when there is a tournament, everything sort of slows down a bit. But it does feel a bit strange. I mean, we've got, what is it, 15 days, 16 days to the end of the window, and there's not really a lot happening.
well, we found out
Obviously,
today.
Eddie Nketiah was
I
quite
was
close to
literally
joining
about
in
to say,
Marseille, wasn't he? But I think other than that, I haven't
well,
even heard anything.
I mean, it was actually worse than that. He was close to joining Marseille. They wouldn't. We were asking too much money. He was then going to join Bournemouth, and instead of signing Eddie Nketiah, they've signed somebody from Porto, like a striker from Porto. So it's not Keith. What's the name of the striker from Porto?
Evan Nielsen.
Oh, right,
There
there
you
we go.
go.
And they signed him for
41 million.
40 million.
41
Yeah.
million. Yeah. So
Ridiculous.
yeah. So Eddie is.
And they're equivalent over 28 million for what is effectively a proven Premier League goal scorer.
Yeah.
England international.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got a theory about transfers and other teams.
Go on then.
Other teams
Yeah,
just
let's
don't want to
hear
give
it.
us any money for any other players. It happens every season. They shortchange us. And yet, if Eddie Nketiah was a City 18-year-old with 0 minutes to his name, someone like Southampton would come in for £40 million and buy him eagerly. But they must have an agreement.
Do you think
not
there's a
to-
pact?
Yeah, they never give us any money for players.
Mm.
Do you know what it
Eddie
is, though?
Nketiah should be bought by someone like Brighton or Bournemouth or Crystal Palace. They're like, no, we want to spend £40 million on a striker that has never played in the Premier League before.
No, but do you know what the problem is, right? With those types of players, there's potential, there's mystery. I feel Nketiah has been a victim of his own success in a way. He's played so much for Arsenal.
Mid-success.
Huh?
Mid-success. He's not,
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I would say
personally, he's
limited.
played 100,
Like
played 100 games for Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's been a victim of playing too much and not producing enough. And then, so if you have a under 21 player who looks really good and has the potential to play in the Premier League, you take a risk on that. Eddie Nketiah has played in the Premier League and probably not scored as many goals as we would like, or, he hasn't shown enough to be worth the 30, 35 million that we're asking for, even though in theory he probably is. But it's a tough one because also you get feelings with players, what kind of trajectory they're on, what the club think of them. And I think the example with Smith Rowe, the reason why we were able to get 35 million for him was because we didn't have to sell Smith Rowe. It was quite common knowledge that we were happy to keep Smith Rowe. It was not a problem. It was more Smith Rowe wanted to play minutes, understandably so. And if we got a good enough offer, we would sell, but it wasn't a necessity for us. Like if we went into the new season with Smith Rowe in the squad, it wouldn't have been a bad thing. Whereas I think it's now common knowledge that we're trying to shift Eddie Nketiah. And even though we're trying to hold a value for him, it's clear that he wants to move on. We want him to move on, and so other teams can sense that and go like, well, you want to get rid of him. Why am I going to pay you 30 million for your second striker who you want rid of? I'll give you 20 mil or whatever it was.
I mean, you're seeing a lot of stuff with Chelsea, particularly, who've got, I think, 48 first team players. They've got
56.
But the 56 is it?
That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but you see a lot with them stories about how they're sending players to train with the reserves or banishing from the training ground and all that sort of stuff. And I don't think Arsenal can do that, and they won't do that, and nor should they.
No, I don't.
But I think Dan makes a really good point, actually. But I do also wonder, and we've touched upon this a little bit last season, and I wonder if this is going to be a thing again in the way that Arteta uses a squad. He relies on the same players over and over again. Do you think that because Eddie Nketiah basically became persona non grata from like February onwards, like he's just out of sight, out of mind, like a potential signing club, he's just not in the shop window enough? I know you said he's played over 100 games for Arsenal, but I think guys like Reece Nelson someone should have signed Reece Nelson by now, surely. I mean, it was a talented under 21 player. He's got a body of work in Germany. He's an exciting player. He can clearly make a difference if he had a run of games behind him. He's a good mid-level Premier League player. I just think he's just not quite, what we want right now or what we aspire to be. but there's no market for him. It just seems crazy for me. Yeah, if he was, you know, her real, Reece Nelsonino or something like that, and he was an Italian or Brazilian player, and like you say, had got 30 games under his belt, he'd probably go for 40-50 million. It is crazy. So I think you make a good point, Dan. I don't think the wages could be that prohibitive either. I would be surprised if they're on astronomical money either. But yeah,
Eddie's on 100K, isn't he?
oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah. He
yeah,
signed
okay,
that new
fair enough.
contract a couple of years ago, got the number 14, and so the wages could be a problem. But
Yeah,
the problem
yeah.
is there's no money elsewhere. So
Yeah, it's only in English football, isn't it?
it's only
Yeah.
English football that has money. So if it's not a Premier League club buying him, he's not going to go anywhere. Marseille were close, but it was a loan with an obligation to buy next year,
Yeah.
And so even though that's guaranteed money in a bank, they haven't got,
It's all this PSR stuff, isn't it?
and
or
it's
FFP.
skirting around it. But
Is there do you think there's merit as well in the fact that, like, even the players that we thought would be really easy to sell, so like Jakub Kiwior, there was a lot of interest or noise about him from Italian teams at the end of last season. I think the Milan clubs were linked with him, and it was very much seen that if we could buy a left back, that he would go. We'd sort of do a like for like thing, and we've obviously bought in Calafiori, who looks like he's going to be a left-sided defender. Obviously, Tomiyasu's there, Timber's there. We can all name them all. Don't you think it's surprising that even a player who is in a little bit of demand, nothing from that has even materialised? It just seems a bit.
I think it's going to be
Him
crazy.
him and Ramsdale, I think too, that I thought absolutely would be easy to sell. Like nothing's happening. It's crazy.
I think it's going to be a crazy last 2 weeks of the window. I think it's going to be a lot of last minute deals with desperate clubs.
I suspect you're right.
Kelsey going to do a lot of dodgy deals. I think that might be the same for Arsenal. I reckon Ramsdale will go on loan somewhere last minute with an obligation to buy next year or an extension to a contract. Nelson will go, I think, for £15 million or something like that. I think Eddie will go as well, but it might be for a loan obligation to buy next year or a last minute transfer fee for £20 million or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams with someone like Kiwior, I think he'll go to Italy. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
But Italian clubs are very cheeky. They're tight. They're useless. Bankrupt most of the time.
Do you think it's a case? Do you think
they
it's
will come last minute with a cheeky offer, and Arsenal might have to say, "Well, we've got to take it because we've got no other option."
I hear what you're saying, but do you also think that there is a case that you can't then sell players too late in the window because you've got no one else to bring in?
Well, we can definitely sell Kiwior last minute because we've got
I think Kiwior's obviously
cover.
that's a bit different, but I mean, like, I'm thinking Nelson and Nketiah. If would it be wise to sell them with nothing else coming in?
No, it would have been. I still think we need another attacker. I would prefer a striker, definitely a wide striker, if not a wide forward, we definitely need. But it's a crazy market at the moment. Like, there's so many dominoes still to go down. Like, if Barcelona decide to sell a few players, then the market might move that way. But I don't know. I could see us maybe going for someone last minute like Rafinha from Barcelona on loan with an obligation to buy. But I think it's gonna be a crazy last 10 days.
Yeah,
so.
I've heard the Rafinha rumors as well. James, I actually found it really interesting you mentioned Nelson. And it's gonna sound a bit mad, but I don't think that Nelson is. I don't think that he's the same as Eddie, as in it seems like it does seem that we're really desperate to get rid of Eddie. Whereas with Nelson, I don't know. Because, there's a lot of people have met, you said a lot of this online is, who plays on the right. When, if we need to give Saka a game off. Do you know what I mean? So I know that's the point though.
I kind of think that what we'll see. And it's just a hunch. I don't know. I've not watched any of the preseason games that we've already discussed, but
Not a proper fan.
I am not at all. I firmly believe that Kai Havertz formed towards the end of the season. He's established himself as a false nine, and I do think Mikel And I have read this a little bit actually, that rather than we have one style of play for the season, or he's going to rip it up and start again, I think he's going to call upon what we've seen over the last 2 seasons and kind of go a third way. So like we build up with the back three sometimes, with the inverted fullback as Zinchenko. I think you might see that come back more and more, because I think Zinchenko, there doesn't seem to be much of a market for him now. He's changed his squad number. I think if he was going to go,
dude, he's 100% staying.
I think if he was going to go,
he actually had a
would've
decent
gone.
pre-season from what I
Yeah.
saw. I thought he played quite well personally.
I think he comes right back into the fold. I think us playing a bit more on the front foot, like we did not last season, but the season before, I think we could go back doing that route. I think, by all accounts, Gabriel Jesus looks fit and sharp again, which can only be a good thing. I think Kai Havertz's form, and again, even in the Euros, he played well for Germany down the middle. I think that will continue, and I think Jesus would be an option on the right. The one thing for us, the one player for us who we've got to get fit and firing, again, really is Gabriel Martinelli. It's a big season for him, because
Massive.
he's
Massive.
Yeah.
there was just not enough goals and assists from him. I think with coming back to Reece Nelson, I think when you look at those guys, he's way off that level of those three in particular. And then Saka, of course. So Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, and then you think Trossard as well. So I think there is potential that he could go. I also think now is also the time. I mentioned obviously Martinelli, but now is the time we've got to see something from Fabio Vieira. I think if Fabio Vieira has another quiet season,
He's
injured. Yeah. I mean, I just think that, but he's someone who the jury's been out on him anyway since we signed him. It doesn't seem clear where he's going to play. Is he going to be a backup to Ødegaard? He played a couple of games, I believe, in pre-season on the right wing. Is he going to? He clearly doesn't seem to have enough about him to be the left eight. He's not fancied there because we've put Havertz in that role before. Doesn't seem to want to play him off the left. So I think there's a lot of variables out there. I mean, look, we speak about selling players, and we can all go into Championship Manager and go, yeah, we're going to get 30 million for this guy and 30 million for that guy, and put all the pieces in the puzzle. But rather than do that, what about incoming? So Keith, obviously you mentioned about a striker. Graham, where do you think we're still lacking?
We spoke about this a lot last season as well, and me and Dan tend to sort of concur on this, which was, do we need a striker? Do we need an out-and-out striker? I don't know. I don't know. I think part of the issue is I don't know what the profile is, for who the striker would be. I mean, people have sort of said, okay, but the Ivan Toney thing has been going on for ages, and it's.
Well, we would in terms of the profile, we would definitely 100% in for Benjamin Sesko, because we'd made an offer for him.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're definitely in for him.
So
he's more of a. Well, he's a number 9, isn't he? I don't think he's a big hulking striker, but he was a number 9 that can run in behind. So I think they were looking at someone like that who can stretch teams and offer something a bit different. Dan, what are your thoughts? You were quite high on Sesko when we spoke last season. Where do you think we need, if anything?
Oh, he turned us down, so he's obviously shit. No,
it's the right answer.
No,
Mr. Sitter
is the correct answer.
Mr. Sitter against Portugal, yeah.
cost me money.
No, I think Sesko, even though we can look at that profile, I think that was more of an opportunity at his age into what he can do and what he can become. I think we were trying to get him before he really became as good as he can be. I think that was just more a market opportunity. I don't know if Mikel's in for a striker. I think he's quite happy with what we have, and
that's kind of what I was saying, Dan. It's like you and I, like last season we spoke about this, and we were like, yeah. I really don't think that's what Mikel's. As I say, that's kind of what I mean. I don't know what the profile would be of that player.
I think what Keith was saying about an attacker, whether that be a wide right, wide left, down the middle. I think we do need a striker, an attacker. I say we don't need it. Sorry, let me backtrack. I don't think we need one. I think we'd like one. If we went into the season without one, okay. Like I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable with that. I think we definitely need a midfielder, and I think we will be getting Mikel Merino. It's taken some time, but I think that's a piece of the puzzle Mikel's really wanting.
It's quite
Um,
it's actually quite an exciting quite an exciting prospect, I think. I mean, obviously,
Well,
Mikel only wants to buy him because he has the same first name. Uh, but yeah, no, I
well,
think it's
he's 28, so he's not really a
mm,
prospect. It seems like it's of the Partey mold.
yeah.
From what I've read, he's more of a number 8, which kind of I thought Declan Rice was in that position. So I'm not sure how the jigsaw kind of fits together there. It doesn't look, only look Partey's obviously staying, and it looks like as is Jorginho. So that's a bit of a yeah. I don't know how that all kind of fits together either.
He's
Mm.
a bit he's a bit underwhelming though, this Marino signing, isn't it? I find
On the
this a bit.
Euros, didn't
Mm.
I
he
bet
play for Spain?
all I know about Marino
Dan
is
wouldn't know about that because he
he
didn't watch it,
played
but
he played for Newcastle, played for
Not a real
Dortmund,
England fan.
and then went to Sociedad 5 years ago. He's 6 years ago.
Did he play for Newcastle?
he did
Yeah,
play for Newcastle, yeah.
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 Fucking hell, I never
Something
knew that.
that everyone's conveniently forgotten, but
Well,
I
I
think,
never knew it at all.
yeah.
but like I said, it's a bit of an underwhelming signing. Is he going to be a true level raiser, or is he just there for more depth? Like when instead of like last season we had to play El Neni or something coming on for half an hour or in the cup game. Now we can put
No,
Marino
no,
and it's a bit more of
No,
a
no, no.
no,
I
more
really
depth.
no,
thought
no,
I really
no, no,
thought
no,
that
no, no.
if we were going to sign anyone from Spain, it was going to be Zubamendi.
Well,
Um,
apparently he won't leave Real Sociedad, apparently.
well, they said that he's got the nod from Real Madrid that they're going to come in from in a year's time because obviously they've done all their money on Mbappe's wages and
I read that he doesn't want to leave Sociedad. He's very much from that area. Doesn't want to
Mm.
leave it. So
Yeah, that was it. Liverpool had agreed a fee for him. Well, they were gonna match his release clause. Apparently, he said, "Yeah, I'll go," but then changed his mind and said, "I love it here. I don't want to leave." So
Mm.
that is what it is. I think the Marino deal, if you're looking at a big name signing, the exciting signing that everyone, creams their pants over, yeah, it's not that. But I
Mm.
think for what Mikel wants to do and for the squad, I think it's a really good signing. It's a shrewd signing.
Mm.
Um, he was at Newcastle. It didn't go well. He then went to Dortmund. It didn't go well either. But he's gone back to Spain and he's rejuvenated himself. He was in, La Liga Team of the Year a couple of years ago. He's won the most duels in Europe. You know how Mikel loves a duel.
Wells,
If I lose a duel,
I am
I am not
upset.
happy. So when Mikel is not happy about the duels, he gets in the guy who's won the most duels in
Yeah.
Europe. He's a
Well,
combative midfielder. He's got good
yeah.
height on him.
Mm.
We
He's
can't rely on
technical.
Partey, can we? Let's be honest. We can't rely on Partey
I
to
was
stay.
actually going to ask you guys about that,
I think that's why we signed in
Partey.
Marino because I don't think Arteta can't rely on Partey. No one's going to sign
It's not
Partey.
like,
I think as I'm going to come in here a little bit and just say that actually because of exactly what Keith has just said that we can't rely on Partey. I think that's why I actually think a centre midfielder is our number one priority signing, and I felt like that for a while, a couple of years. I mentioned it, but I think what we said before, me and Dan have spoken about this loads of times. We've got to get Declan Rice a top class partner.
Yeah,
You've got Martin
100%.
Odegaard. Martin Odegaard's there. He's there. He can't be looking over his shoulder and, it's a creaking Jorginho there or a Thomas Partey playing on one leg with a patched up groin or something like that. You know what I mean? It's got to be. He needs someone with him who can really elevate. And because that's the thing, right? We hopes for the season. We can all say whether we think we're going to win this or we're going to win that. But really, the aim for all of us is the aim is to win the Champions League or the Premier League, right? That's the aim.
Yep.
That's where we're at now. We're aiming to win the Premier League or the Champions League. Anything else is kind of like, well, if we fall well short of that, yeah, it's a great disappointment. So we need to get in those sort of players, I would have thought, right?
Yeah, exactly that. So when you say if we sign Marino, where does he fit in? He's not displacing Partey. Well, Partey will displace himself, by injuring himself.
Yeah.
But no,
Same with Fabio Vieira. You get
but,
injured as
but
well.
that's what I mean. So, but it's just good to have that depth. We're going to be
Yeah.
fighting on all fronts. I do think Mikel's going to take the cups more seriously this year.
He has
Which,
to.
well, I say like the FA Cup's harsh because we had Liverpool and Man City in the third round 2 years running, and we gave those games a pretty good
Dan,
go.
don't do it.
No,
Don't
I'm
do
just
it.
saying, no,
Don't
with
do
the
it.
Carabao,
Leave
well,
it alone.
what?
Don't go there,
What are you
rubbishing the Carabao Cup again.
Well, no, I'm saying
we go
Mikel's
again.
going to
It's got
take it more
three
seriously.
handles, man. It's got three handles.
I was
How
gonna
can
say,
you not like that
Mikel's
cup?
gonna. I
Look at
think
it.
Mikel's gonna take it more seriously. Not me. I don't give a fuck about that cup. But you know, it will make the other fans happy that we're taking the Carabao Cup seriously. Um, no, but I think he will take that cup more seriously. I think you'll see a stronger team in that cup. But we're fighting on all of these fronts, and we need a squad. We need a team, and you know, Thomas Partey has stayed fit for most of the season before. Like it's not unheard of.
3
Gabby
years
Jesus
ago.
has played a season before. Like
Mm.
these things aren't unheard of. If we are able
Age
to
is
not with
not on
us.
this. Age is not on this side, though, is it? I think that
Yeah.
I hear you, Dan, and look, I know how big of a fan you are of not only Thomas Partey but also Gabby Jesus. And look, I make you 100% right.
Same as
in
me, to
both
be
those
honest.
counts. The talent is there. The
Mm.
class is undeniable. You know, class is permanent. Form is temporary. I'm with you on that completely, and I think so is Mikel.
Mm.
But the fact is they can't get on the pitch often enough, and that's been a problem, isn't it? And it's you know, but we can talk about all this, you know, till we're blue in the face, or for much longer to come. And look, I'm sure the listeners don't want to hear us ramble on over and on about this over and over again. So look, we spoke a bit. I mentioned then about what are the goals for the season. So look, we know what the goals are. What are we
Mm.
going to do? How are we feeling? How are we feeling on the eve of the season as things stand right now? I'm going to kick us off by saying that I think where we stand right now, I think we're going to be a little bit short. I think we've got to do some work in the transfer market. I don't think there's a huge amount to do, but I do think if you find us a real level raising centre midfielder, be that Mikel Merino or somebody else to partner Declan Rice, I think that takes us a giant leap forward. And then if you add the cherry on top of even Tony in a swap deal plus cash for Eddie Nketiah right at the end of the window, I think
Oh, interesting.
we're
So
all
is-
the Spidey
okay.
all
I
the
li-
Spidey senses are tingling, and we're on a roll. I don't think that's I don't think that's likely.
I like
think
the
we're
fact you
probably looking
didn't
at.
mention that earlier. Like,
I think we're probably only looking at one in, to be honest, and a few out. I think obviously Keith mentioned Ramsdale. I expect if Ramsdale goes, we'll probably will bring in another goalkeeper, but I don't think that's going to be the difference between us winning the league or not. So yeah, I think we've got a bit of work to do. So I think, unfortunately, I'm going to say probably as things stand right now, we're probably looking at another season of finishing behind Man City. Hopefully we can add a cup. I think a domestic cup. I think, like Dan says, I think we can go far in those. And I do think we're at a point where if we don't win something again this season, the pressure externally is going to start building on Mikel and the club. I think internally, I think we're all quite secure, but I think externally, I think all the Sky Sports renter quotes are going to be jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah. I'm going to be quite boring and agree with James there. I think we're going to be a little bit short again. And if we could get a proper forward in, then I think we could win it. So I think we're so close to City in so many ways. I just still think we're still short of 10, 12 goals in the team. Like a striker scoring some goals, last minute wonder strike. And I think City have got the one true forward that scores goals. We need to get a forward in. If we can do that, I think we can push City all the way again. Be really close and definitely win a cup. But until we get another forward in, I think second and maybe another cup is the best we can do.
Okay.
Real Madrid win the Champions League again, so I'm not going to mention that.
Listen, as you know that I'm, a hopeless optimist as always. Although this time I think it's probably a bit more has more rationale to it. So, do you know this thing with City where they kind of play it slow until January and then just go off on one, and that's how they've won the league so consistently, right? But do you know what's happening in January to City?
What?
Well, that's when they're in court for all those 115
They get away
charges.
with it. They'll get away with it. Guaranteed. Nothing
And
will
I
happen.
think that will affect, I actually genuinely do think that will affect them.
No,
Like,
it won't.
again, I might be being mindlessly optimistic, but I do think that we've spoken about this before.
We don't want to win it in the courtroom, though, do we?
No,
We want to
no,
win it by
no,
being the
I
best
don't mean
team
it
in the
like
league.
that.
I think
What I'm saying is they
we
will
don't want them
fall
to be
off.
distracted in January. We want to go out and win the league. I think, look, your point is fair. I think we probably do have to come out the blocks really fast and do what Liverpool did a couple of years ago and go for it. But look, we've all kind of had our say. The hopeless optimistic.
Oh, wait, you mean the other one?
The main one.
The main one. Well, that's quite funny. I like the fact that both you and Keith have presented basically.
We don't take you seriously, Graham.
Basically,
you
the
always
pessimistic argument.
Graham, you just
and-
think, oh yeah, we turn up and Arsenal are going to win because we're Arsenal, man. Come on,
Well-
dude.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with that, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
so
Dan,
let's-
we want to hear.
Come on,
we
Dan,
wanna hear
give
from
us
the
a
real
rousing-
optimist. Come
a
on.
rousing rendition of why this is the year.
Well, do you know what? If you'd asked me the question of how the opinions were going to go before the podcast, I would have absolutely nailed it. You and Keith being miserable bastards, and Graham being wildly optimistic, and myself actually leaning towards Graham's side because
What's the
I am
price?
not a miserable
Yeah.
bastard. And I've actually watched preseason because I'm a proper fan. So
Oh,
no, so look, I think we're there or thereabouts. It's definitely going to be close. Would I like another attacker in? Yeah, I think that would definitely be a boost, but I'm okay if we don't. I think Marino's important. We need to get that over the line, but I'm comfortable going into the season where we are. I think we were the best team in the league last year.
100%
I know that didn't win us the trophy, but we were. So we're there. It's just what was it? 2 points. We talk about level raisers. We don't
Yeah.
need level raisers. We're there. We're as good as Man City, if not better now. They're actually worse at the moment. They've lost Alvarez. They haven't brought in anyone. De Bruyne's another year older. Like they're on the decline, and we're on the
Well,
ascendancy.
this
I don't
kind
know,
of
like, no one say City
On the
decline.
decline. Won the
can't
league
say
4
that.
years in a row, but they lost the
Yeah.
cup final to Man United. They are on the decline.
the
Love
first
it.
signs of decline, James. The first signs of decline.
Do you not think though to kind of come in there? Do you not think though that Erling Haaland is now fit and raring to go? So that is like undermines everything you've just said.
Well, no, not at all. I'm saying like, all right, based on where they are, yeah, there's no sign of decline, but you get a feeling, right? People get feelings like a lot of predictions. A lot of people are predicting Arsenal to win the league this year because of the trajectory we're on and where they think City are now. I think the team's there. You know, I'm really comfortable going into the season, and I'm quite confident that we will do it this year. You know, you can only knock on a door for so long until you break through, and I really do feel like this season is going to be it. We're finally going to do it. We're better defensively.
I mean,
if
we
that
do
was-
have about 19 defenders, to be fair. So
No, but the squad depth in defense is insane, right? Whereas
yeah, it
before,
is. Yeah.
2 seasons ago, we lost Saliba and that was it, done. And Tomiyasu and job done. Now,
Mm.
I think we'd feel we wouldn't be, we wouldn't be great if we lost Saliba. Saliba's fantastic, but we're more comfortable going into games without having to go to Rob Holding, you know? And then, yeah, maybe an attacker, but I think we scored a lot of goals last season. We scored 89 goals. We scored the most goals we ever scored in the league. But yet, suddenly we need a 20-goal striker to try and beat City, who are only 2 points ahead of us. What sense does that make?
Right, I'm sorry, but we lost the title last season in the first half of the season when we didn't score nearly enough goals. So I think my point still stands there. I think
What do you mean we lost the league in the first half?
I'm going to back up Keith a little bit, just on that point though, because where I think there's a lot of people that have the perception about us not scoring a lot of goals or not scoring enough goals. The fact is, at Liverpool away, We scored one goal. We relied a lot on set pieces last season. I think a lot of people worry that teams will become a lot wiser to that and better coached against that threat. That element of surprise won't be there. We scored one goal at Old Trafford. We haven't scored a goal at the Etihad for a number of years. You know what I mean? It's in the big games, the games that can swing a title. And don't get me wrong, we had a really strong record last season against
No,
the
I was
rest
going to say we
of the
won at
top
Old
six.
Trafford. We
We
drew
had,
at
yeah, but
Anfield.
it was
we
just
drew
by
at
the
the
one goal.
Etihad.
But my
Like,
point was that we're not, for the dominance we have in games, we're not converting that into results always. We had an amazing run from February through to the end of April. But I think to Keith's point, in the early part of the season, it was a bit of a grind. We didn't score away at Aston Villa, we didn't score away at St James's Park, that sort of thing. And that's probably where the want comes. That well, if you just had a bulldoze in number 9, you'd put the ball in the goal. And that's been something that's been levelled at Arsenal even in the Thierry Henry years, about having the fox in the box. So I don't think much has changed on that, right?
Yeah.
but this magical number 9 that's out there, like, please tell me, like, this magical
Well, that's the
bulldozing
question.
striker
That's
gonna.
the question, isn't it? Where's this magical number 9? And it's
What would you
today's
would you have been happy if we got
world, today's football world, there is barely any top strikers anymore. There aren't any.
Dominic Solanke going for 65
Well, exactly.
million pounds?
That proves the point. That proves
Yeah,
the
but
point.
okay. But if we had signed Dominic Solanke for 65 million pounds, would you be more confident going into the Premier League season?
Yeah.
Nah.
I would rather Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz up front.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
For me, there's only two. Well, I don't know all of world football, but I'd say Victor Osimhen is intriguing, but it says a lot that no one's going near him. Ollie Watkins, we ain't getting him out of Aston Villa.
No.
And then there's Ivan Toney.
Mm.
And even Toney, we've looked at him and looked at him and looked at him and looked at him. I think 4 years ago, Dan, you even mentioned him when he was in the Champ. He's been on everyone's radar for a long time. I don't know why people are not going near him, and if it's an attitude thing.
Attitude problems,
I don't know. I don't know. But
makes sense.
that's the one, isn't it?
But maybe Mikel doesn't want this big bulldozer number 9 because that's not the style of play he wants. Like, that's not how we play football. So if you bring in this magical number 9, this bulldozer, this, you change your style of football, and then maybe those results don't go your way because you're trying to play a different style of football. You're trying to play to a number 9, and then you're not as dominant on the ball.
Does it go back to the point then, Dan, that the one guy that we need really is at the club, and that's Gabriel Martinelli? We need him to find his scoring boots again.
Absolutely. So just think, we scored all those goals last season, and Martinelli only got 4. Like, that's insane. Like, if Martinelli hit the figures he did the season before, and Trossard hit the figures he did last season, and Havertz chips in with 15, like, we haven't been a team that relies on one player to score the goals. We haven't been that team for a while. We spread the goals across our team, and that's how Mikel likes it. So this magical number 9, I'm not fully on board with it. I think as an option off the bench, if you want to change it up, if you're losing 1-0 or it's 0-0 and you need something a little bit different, maybe. But I don't think it's the answer to us winning the league. I think we have what we need to win the league. It's football at the end of the day. It's not like you're guaranteed to win every single game, or if you have this team, you're going to, like, do you know what I mean? You're going to score these goals. It just doesn't work that way. It was 2 points. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We could argue that Jorginho's mistake against Tottenham when we drew cost us 2 points. Like, where do you draw the line? Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, talking about the league, it starts on Saturday, which feels very real all of a sudden. And does Martinelli start on Saturday for you, Dan?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The rest of the team?
No.
Damien says no.
Trossard has to start.
Okay.
Trossard's the man in form. I didn't watch
man in form,
so I don't know.
From what?
Well, from last season, he's the man with the jersey. I'm fully expecting that our front three will be Trossard, Havertz, and Saka, purely because Saka just plays every game. I mean, in a real sane world, Saka wouldn't be starting. You'd start Gabriel Jesus, but I think Saka and Rice will both start.
I think Jesus will start up front on Saturday. I think Havertz will play left 8.
Yeah, I think that's more likely.
Would you play Martinelli, Keith? You didn't answer that.
I would start Trossard because I think he started off ended last season really well. So I think he deserves it. Martinelli hasn't done. I haven't seen too much Martinelli in pre-season, so I can't really say for sure if he's in form or not. But he's not. He's not scored like 5 or 6 goals in pre-season. So start Trossard, and I would start
What
Havertz
preseason
up.
didn't matter.
I'll start Havertz up front,
Hmm.
and then say Partey and Rice in midfield.
Would you play Saka?
Yeah, but he's gonna play. Arteta does not rest Saka. We all know that by now. So he's gonna play. It's guaranteed he's gonna play on Saturday.
And I suppose the other key question, and so if you forget the strikers or the forward line, who's playing at left back?
Maybe
Timber.
maybe Calafiori comes in.
Mate, I think Zinchenko will start. I think because
Yeah.
Calafiori's barely played for us.
Mm.
Timber started pre-season, started doing well, and then had 2-3 weeks off apparently.
Yeah, he's
So-
injured. He's injured again.
Well, apparently he's back in training now. He was in
Oh.
training today, apparently. I saw pictures of him on Arsenal.com. So I think it'll be Zinchenko on Saturday. We're going to have lots of the ball on Saturday.
Hmm.
Wolves are a good team. Gary
Yeah.
O'Neill. Well,
Yeah.
They're
They've
missing
lost, they've lost Pedro Neto though, which is
Yeah.
a big loss to them.
Yeah.
I
So I
think
think
we. I
Zinchenko
think
will start, and the other of the back three or the back four will be the usual three. Obviously, Raya, Rice, Partey, Odegaard, Trossard, Saka, Havertz. No, Jesus up front and Havertz left 8.
So no Partey or no Rice.
Yeah, we're not playing 12 players. See what you did there. See what you did there.
Well, if we play all 12, then I think we'll definitely
I
win.
think
I think
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
definitely
yeah. I
win,
think we
yeah.
definitely do well.
Okay, guys. So look, obviously we're on the eve of the season. Let's have a bit of fun. Let's have some predictions, and we can look back and see how wrong we all were in
Ooh,
11
let's
months' time.
go,
So
let's
come on.
go.
Right, so let's
Okay.
have. So
Well, you've already got one wrong.
let's have the top 4. So we're assuming. Let's go round. Let's do a top 4. So I'll kick us off. So I think the top 4 is going to be Manchester City, Arsenal,
Disgracia.
Disgracia.
and I think Tottenham Hotspurs.
Oh, mate. I thought we were meant to be having a laugh. That was the
Yeah,
worst
come on,
top
that is
four I've
not.
heard,
That's
mate.
not funny, man.
fucking
That's just not.
horrendous.
Yeah, come on, man. Sort it out.
Yeah. I think Villa will struggle with Champions League football. I think Villa are actually going to finish about 9th. I think they're going to be uncovered
Whoa.
to be. Yeah, I think they're
Whoa.
going to have a real flop
Deep.
season. I think people are going to work them right out,
Mm.
and they'll struggle with the rigors of European football. So I think they'll finish right down the league. Man United, I don't think have enough about them as a whole to get them back in the top 4. I think Tottenham, they don't have any European football. I don't think they don't have any European football to worry about. So I think they will just edge it. Chelsea, I think, are a fucking shambles. And Newcastle, I think it would be between Newcastle and United for like 5th and 6th. But yeah, that's
Interesting.
how I see the top 4. So yeah, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and unfortunately our rivals from Middlesex. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, so Arsenal to win the league
Let's go.
comfortably with about 2 weeks left.
Please.
City to
Please.
finish 2nd. Yeah, Liverpool 3rd, and then top 4 is really tough.
Do you know what? Do you know
Top
what's actually?
three.
Do you know
Top
what's
three is
actually?
easy.
I think the top
Fourth
3.
spot is really hard, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Top
Yeah,
three,
yeah.
I
Isn't
think.
the top 3 easy? Liverpool are a bit of an unknown quantity. They haven't even signed anyone.
Yeah, but they've still
No.
got Salah. They've still got a good team.
Yeah,
there.
they haven't.
I know, but yeah, but
they
it
also
could-
they
but
haven't
also could-
sold anyone,
But,
James.
but
That's
don't
the
you?
point.
Yeah, but don't you think with Liverpool they have? But don't you think with Liverpool that it was like Jurgen Klopp was kind of the glue holding it all together, and he kind of like it was his personality and energy that kind of got them to where they were even last season. I mean, they won the League Cup. I know the Carabao Cup, but they won that with like a bunch of flipping school children, didn't they?
Well, yeah,
You
Chelsea
know,
should have won it
and
that
they're in
day.
their title race. You know, poor old Liverpool.
I think Liverpool will be in a holding pattern. I think the guy coming in, he does play a different style, but
Dan, who's number 4?
oh shit, yeah, forgot about that. Uh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Man United,
Oh, interesting.
and I'm saying that because it could go either way for them. I feel like if they keep players fit, they've got enough quality in the starting 11 to do something,
Mm,
or it could be the complete opposite and they'll end up in 10th, which I'm hoping for, obviously.
well, yeah.
But I'm gonna say United begrudgingly. Probably just
Okay.
as bad as Tottenham, but
Mm,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, with me, I think
Go on, Keith.
City first, unfortunately. Again, I hate them so much. Us second, I think we'd be 2, 3 points behind them again, unfortunately. And then I was going to say Liverpool, but no, James has made a good point there. So it made me thinking now.
Don't let him get in your head.
Yeah, I know. He's got a habit of doing that, hasn't he?
I've just been thinking about it once listening to Dan. I got a feel Tottenham third.
All right. Okay. Now you're just taking the mick, mate.
Yeah, come on, man, sort it
Tottenham
out.
third because they have a settled team.
No, they don't.
I think Solanke's going to get them the 15 goals that they missed last season.
Yeah.
And I think they've got
Timo
enough.
Werner,
Yeah, do you know what it
Brennan
is?
Johnson.
They still scored goals last season.
You did just remember, James, they are Tottenham at the
They
end
are
of the day.
Tottenhm. And I think one of the things is,
you know,
look,
it's
their
the history of the Tottenham.
their ability to shit the bed is unmatched, right, across Europe. However, they are going to play on the front foot. And just by doing that, they're going to win a lot of home games because they're going to be brave to win games. They might lose a lot, but they're going to win a lot as well. So that's my reason. So I think they're going to be really, if they're not fourth, they're going to be fifth. They're going to be really close. But I've gone for them to be in the top 4.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I think Liverpool fourth.
Yeah, what's your 4th, Keith?
Fourth, closely followed by United.
Oh,
Liverpool 4th, United 5th.
Yeah.
okay. I guess it's my go. I've gone for the Arsenal.
Good man.
Because,
proper fan. Proper good.
What I'm gonna, I've gone for Liverpool second.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wow.
I've gone for Liverpool second, and that partly alludes to what Keith was saying about how the players they've managed to retain. Like, okay, they've changed their manager, but there's still that core squad there, and I don't know. I've just got a feeling. City, I put third. Although to be fair, if they get docked a load of points in January, then I could have put them.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be quite nice if they asterisk 20th.
I could put them 20th. That's what I was going to say. I've put City third. And being the crazy dude that I am, fourth,
Yeah.
I've put Ipswich.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because, I mean, come on, man. You just never know.
Ipswich. For fuck's sake.
And part of the reason for me putting Ipswich is because picking who comes fourth is so difficult. And I don't want to put Tottenham in there, and I don't want to put Man United in there. So I've gone with Ipswich. Nice, gentle, what are they called? The tractor boys. There you go.
Fuck's sake.
I don't know. I think they might pull a kind of quarter Leicester. Just.
Well, do you know what? They've brought in some signings. They're just signing the Championship's top goal scorer from last season. They brought in Amari
Who's that?
Hutchinson. Smodics.
Okay,
Yeah.
They've signed the Yorkshire pudding. Calvin
signed.
Phillips.
Yeah, they got Calvin Phillips.
I like
they got Amari Hutchinson.
I really like the fact that Dan is kind of agreeing with me.
They've got Liam Delap from Man City's youth team. They've got a really sought after manager. Kieran McKenna was looked at by Chelsea and Man United, and possibly England in the future. You never. No, you don't know. I mean, it's not. I'm just.
Come on. Do you know
Yeah,
what? Part of me putting Ipswich at fourth is the fact that it's that they've not been in the Premier League for so long, and
I think my
their
argument is
story
valid
is kind
for
of
them
amazing.
staying in
So
the Prem.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Okay, okay. Let's roll this back a little bit. If Ipswich are coming fourth, who the hell's going down? Keith, come on, give me a bottom three.
Oh, we're doing bottom three.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I
Okay.
think Ipswich will go down. Sorry, Graham. I think
Come on, man.
Southampton will go down.
Mm.
And I mean, I would love it. It was City got red one of the teams that got relegated, but I don't think that's going to happen. Everton, I think no. Oh,
Oh, you
no.
think now is the time?
Well, they might be docked more points.
Leicester. It's going to be the three teams that came up. It'd be Leicester, Fulham.
You're saying that's the
No,
pattern?
sorry, Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton.
Okay, Dan, what do you
Mm.
think?
I am inclined to agree with Keith on this one. I think the jump from the Championship to the Premier League is a bit too big for these teams. Even though they're spending money to try and stay in. I just don't think. I think the step up is a bit too big, and I think we're going to have a couple of years where you're just going to have interchangeable teams from the Championship and the Premier League. I thought Luton did well when they came up last season.
Oh man,
Shocked a few people.
That was great, man.
You know, I actually wanted them to stay up, but
Yeah, me
again,
too.
I just
Me
think
too.
that was a bit too big.
Mm.
So yeah, the promoted teams I think are going to go down.
Okay.
I'm
Oh.
gonna jump in before Graham because Graham
Oh,
is
go
clearly
on.
going to name Chelsea and Tottenham.
No, I wasn't
Um,
actually. I'm not going that mad. Although
All
my
right, go on then, Graham. Go
although
on then.
oh really? Okay, all right, fair enough. So I'm going to say Leicester. I mean, what Leicester did a few years ago is kind of amazing, but they're not that team anymore. So Forest, I think Forest are going down. And controversially, I'm also going to say Brentford.
Oh, okay.
I think Brentford could get relegated because I just don't think their squad is as strong as it was. Yeah, just throwing it again, another wild card because obviously Ipswich are finishing fourth. So
No, I don't think Brentford's as outlandish as. I mean, they've been a solid Prem
I
team for a
think
couple of years.
Graham's peeked at my notes.
Oh,
No.
no.
I actually very similarly. I think Leicester might go down because I think Leicester are looking at a 12-point deduction.
Oh, there's that as well,
FFP
isn't
stuff.
there? Yeah.
So if Leicester get a hefty points deduction, I think that could be the end of them. Although if they don't, I think Ipswich will go down. And then I think it's between Southampton, Nottingham Forest, and Brentford. I agree with Graham. I think Brentford will struggle. I also think Brighton might have a little bit of a bad season as well. Got a young manager in. Brighton, I think, should be all right, but I think
they're spending money, mate. They're spending money.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if they change their manager quite soon. I don't know.
Is he the guy who's like 31?
Yeah, the old St. Pauli manager. I think
he's got five players older than him at the club.
Yeah, I think German second division to English Premier League might be a bit much. There's a few egos there. I mean, James Milner's nearly 10 years older than him. It's mad, but yeah, I think no, I agree with Graham. I think Brentford. I think their recruitment strategy, might catch them out. If they lose even Tony as well, I think that could be a big blow for them. Forest, I think, are a bit of a mess, to be honest. So
Yeah,
I could see them going. So yeah, they're my three.
okay. Well, I'm
But
glad.
obviously, the caveat is that it could be Ipswich. But I'm actually going to agree with Graham.
Oh,
So,
amazing!
okay.
Wow.
Oh,
So
you agree
on
that
that-
you agree that Ipswich are
No,
going to
I don't
finish
agree.
fourth?
Ipswich are not going to finish fourth. I think Ipswich will finish. I think Ipswich will go down, provided that Leicester don't have a
Yeah,
a big,
yeah.
a big
Have a
panic.
mare.
I'm glad
What
we've
is it?
got
I think
this
Ipswich will give a
recorded.
good account.
James,
think
I know.
agreeing with.
No, genuinely, I think Ipswich will give a good account of
Anyone, like-
themselves. I think they'll give a good account of themselves. I don't think they'll probably have enough in the tank. So look, on that bombshell that I'm agreeing with Graham, so that's a bit of a surprise
Oh,
in the top four. But
well, that's what I was
Give it
going to
a go.
say. I was sort of, I kind of got there already. With the Ipswich in the top four. I think Fulham are going to do really well.
You say really well.
I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing. Ipswich are going to be in the top four. Fulham are going to come fifth. It's going to be a bonkers season.
I wasn't actually going
The
to
bottom three is going to be Man City, Man
I
United.
wasn't actually going to
to avoid
say that.
relegation.
I want Graham's prediction to be right so much.
Oh, make it be right. What a season that would be. if
Yeah,
Arsenal
exactly.
win the
We all
league,
do.
Ipswich
That's the
come
point.
fourth,
Like, don't
Man
come
City
on.
get relegated. Man United.
It's worth a quid, isn't it? It's worth a quid.
Graham, shut up.